Yes, welcome to day 5. Here we discuss about Gupta's dynasty and Harshavardhana times, post Mauryan period mostly. And coming to the question 1, here it is asking about match the following regarding various poets and their writings. Here Kalidasa, Varahamihira and Shudraka and Mahaviracharya. They were the prominent writers in the ancient times post Mauryan period and during the Gupta's times. Kalidasa wrote not only Raghuvamsha but also Vikramaurya Siyam, Malavikagnimitram, Abhignana Shakuntalam, Rutusamharam, and there were many writings by Kalidasa, and those 3 writings initially I had told about Abhignana Shakuntalam, Vikram, right. Those were the dramatics actually related to drama. And next Varahamihira, he was a great astronomer in the ancient times. He wrote Pancha Siddhantaka, Bruhat Samhita, Bruhat Jataka likewise. And Shudraka, Mruchakatika was right. And Mahaviracharya, prominent mathematicians in ancient times in the 9th century AD. And 12th century AD also, Leelavati of Bhaskaracharya was one prominent mathematical text. And these are the things that you need to remember, the major poets and their philosophy and poetess and everything. And coming to second question, arrange the following administrative units of Gupta Empire in ascending order. Ascending order means going towards the lower tiers from upper tiers, is descending order actually, sorry. And when it comes to ascending order, from lower tiers to upper tiers. Okay. So, ascending means going upwards, descending is going downwards. So, here Gupta Empire with respect to ascending order, that means lower tiers to upper tiers. Viti is lower tier and most lower unit is Gramas, and the next coming to Vitis and later Vishyas, and finally Bhuktis, above Bhuktis emperor. Okay. The head of the Bhukti is Uparika, please remember, and this is an Vishyapati is the head of the Vishyas. Okay. And this is the order that you need to remember. And coming to our actually explanation part, here emperor, behind this emperor, next under this emperor Bhukti was there. Bhukti was one such province headed by the Uparika, and next Vishya headed by Ayuta or Vishyapati, next Vitis headed by Viti only, and Gramas, Grampati is the head. This is the administrative structure of the Gupta era. Next, consider the following statements with regard to Aryabhatta. Here Aryabhatta was the contemporary of Chandragupta too, that is true statement. And next, he was the first discoverer of that period, it has to be no problem, and he had an earth centric view of the universe, that is true, and he was the first to discover that earth was rotating around its axis, that was also true. He given earth centric view, not heliocentric view. Here earth was the center and other planets and subplanets were revolving around the earth, that was the theory propounded by him. And his works include Pancha Siddhantaka, or even not Pancha Siddhantaka were written by Varahamihira. So, that was wrong statement. So, only one statement is incorrect according to this question, only one statement is incorrect. Next, coming to fourth question, here I will enlarge it a little bit. Fahian's mission to India was to learn about administrative system, no. Understand the social position of women, not. Visit the Buddhist institution and collect copies of Buddhist manuscripts, that is true, because he came exclusively for the purpose. He stayed here around 15 years, and by the age of 60 it seems he came here, and again he stayed by the age of 77, around 17 years he stayed in India to collect the Buddhist chronicles and literary texts, and he took back to the China also. Next, land, water by river, unfettered land, what is the term denoted during ancient times? That is also important. It was asked in the match the following point. Here, when the land is cultivable due to the rain, it was given by the god, that is why it is termed to be Deva Matrika. When it comes to this land that is cultivable due to the water which is present inherently in the form of rivers, that is called Nadi Matrika. Okay. And desert land is considered to be Maru land, and Ushara is a barren land. Okay. So, this fallow land is called as Aprahata. So, these were the Kacha land is adjacent to water. So, these are the terms given there, right, in the ancient times. Please remember these terms. And who among the following Gupta ruler faced invasion of Hunas? This is Chandragupta, no, Skandagupta, sorry. Skandagupta, who faced many Hunas invasions as well, and at the same time who among the granted permission to Meghavarman during that time to build this monastery of Buddhism, monastery related to Buddhism. Meghavarman, who belonged to this Sri Lanka kingdom in the ancient times, asked Samudragupta to build a monastery for Buddhism. So, it was at Gaya only. Actually, it was allowed by Samudragupta, and Meghavarman, a Sri Lanka king, came there and sent his team to build a monastery for Buddhism in the Gaya. So, it was during Samudragupta. The seventh answer is B, that is true. Next question was asked in combined defence service exam in 2003, and it was taken, that question was taken by UPSC in its CDS exam from old NCERT page number 137. That is why we have taken that pic and showed you. And with reference to the history of India, the terms Pravarta, Vapa and Pataka. Pravarta, Vapa and Pataka, these were the denominations for the measurement of the land. Angula having a 3 by 4th inch to measure the land. This is one such denotion, how you denote it. The terms related to measurement of land. Here also Pataka is another land measure which consists of around 60 to 80 acres. And next, this Pravartavapa, much smaller than Kulyavapa. This Advapa, Dronavapa, Kulyavapa are terms related to measuring the land, simple. Here with respect to Kulyavapa was one such previous year question asked by UPSC, therefore, we have given it here. 12 to 16 acres is considered to be Kulyavapa, it is denoted with the term Kulyavapa. And Advapa, Dronavapa, Advapa is containing around 3 by 8 to half acre, and 1.5 acre to 2 acres is considered to be Dronavapa. Kulyavapa consisting of 12 to 16 acres, Pataka consisting of around 60 to 80 acres. So, this is what the measurement of the land, how you measure the land and the terms related to it. Next, Vikrama era, then last question and in the left side of the page. Vikrama era was started by this Chandragupta II in the 58 era in the commemoration of his victory over Shakas, and he was also titled with the term Vikramaditya. So, that is related to Chandragupta II. He also first used, which had been used first by Ujjain ruler in 58C at the same time, and Chandragupta II at Ujjain was adorned by numerous scholars during that time. Therefore, during Chandragupta times, you found various scholars Kalidasa and Amarsimha as per this old NCERT in 138th page. So, you please remember Vikrama era started by Chandragupta II in the commemoration of his victory over Shakas, and he started this Vikrama era 58 BC, and at the same time he was adorned by various scholars during his time or maybe after his time it seems, but as per this NCERT adorned by various scholars including Kalidasa, Amarsimha, that is important. And Ujjaini was the prominent place which accommodated this greatest scholar Kalidasa. Next, consider the following statements with regard to Gupta period. Here Gupta period, kingship was hereditary, that is true. Royal power was limited by the absence of firm practice of primogeniture, that is true. Means the first person who had the option, means the eldest son may be having an option to hire the throne, that is called as primogeniture. If the first kid or the heir who is coming to the power not followed by the principle of primogeniture, okay, that was limitation given in the royal family. Therefore, these successive wars taken place, and this war among these successive heirs is also prominent during Gupta times, that was also seen. So, you please remember it. And next, in central and western India, the villages were subjected to forced labor called Vishti for serving the royal army and officials, that is true. Vishti was one such forced labor existed during this Gupta period. And also for the first time civil criminal law were clearly defined and demarcated, that is also true. That is also true. Next, Consider the following slide. Yes, 9th question was already discussed and I have explained you about all the statements there, and coming to this 10th one is also fine. 11th question, administration with regard to the Guptas, how it was. Here Gupta bureaucracy was not as elaborate as that of the Mauryas, that is true. Kumaramatyas were appointed by the king in the home provinces, that is true. And importance of village headman was declined, not true. Importance of village headman increased during Gupta's times. Gupta bureaucracy was as elaborate as Mauryas, and also he appointed Kumaramatyas to look after the provinces which were coming immediately under the emperor. Those were termed as Bhuktis. Already I had told you Uparikas were the head. Now here Kumaramatyas were appointed in the king, who the Kumaramatyas under the king, who were working to look after the immediate successive units, the lower tiers of the emperor. Those were termed as provinces. So Kumaramatyas, they were appointed by the king in home provinces and possibly paid in cash. And some, the Guptas, were possibly Vaishyas, but therefore recruitment was not confined to only upper class. They also appointed other classes of the society. Several offices came to be combined in the hands of same person. Post became hereditary, and officers also followed this hereditary principle during Gupta's times, who were appointed by the king. Later their hire might be recruited in that position. That was also possible during Gupta's times. And the possible question may be eliminated by you by considering it is a wrong statement, but as per this old NCRT, this is very true that even officers appointed by Gupta king may follow this hereditary system to post them in that place after the demise of that person or retirement. Next, that village headman became more important in Gupta times. He managed village affairs and no land transaction could be effected without their consent. That is also important. Next, 12th question, consider the following statement. Buddhism no longer received royal patronage in the Gupta period. That is true. Gupta period no longer received means it received less patronization from the Gupta times, mentioned by Fahian in his chronicles. That is also important. The position of women and Sudras deteriorated during this period. Okay. Buddhism no longer received royal patronage is given statement in the old NCRT itself. That is why we have taken that. Okay. Such extreme statement given in the NCRT itself. Next, Fahian gives the impression that the religion was in a very flourishing state, but really Buddhism was not so important in the Gupta period as it was the days of Ashoka and Kanishka. And next, in some ways the position of Sudras were improved because they were allowed to listen to epics and Puranas. However, after 7th century, this Gupta period witnessed that Chandalas lived outside the village and dealt in meat and flesh, and whenever they entered in the town, the upper caste people kept themselves away from this and maintained a lot of distance and supposed to have been polluted by them after seeing them or if they come near to them. This was written by Fahian in his chronicle. And who among the following is the author of Swapna Vasavadatta? It was written by Bhasa, one of the prominent Sanskrit poets, and he wrote about romantic comedies related to Udayan, who loved this Vasavadatta. That is why it was named as Swapna Vasavadatta. And this romantic comedy was also followed by this writer Harshavardhana. He is not only a prominent writer, but also a great king of the ancient India in the 7th century. Right. Harshavardhana also wrote about this Udayan, one of the prominent kings in Shodas Mahavajanapada time, king of the Avanti, and he loved Vasavadatta, and also other women who were indulged into this kind of romantic activities of this Udayan were written by our prominent ruler Harshavardhana on the name of Priyadarshini Ratnavali. And Nagananda was about a Buddhist text, Jimuta Vahana, about this Bodhisattva. Okay. Nagananda was one prominent literary text written by same Harshavardhana, apart from this Ratnavali Priyadarshini. Next, consider, and this question was asked in CDS in 2015. 13 plays were written by Bhasa, those dramas were written by Bhasa. One great literary text prominent throughout the history is this one, the Udayani romantic comedy, Udayan related romantic comedy, Swapna Vasavadatta. Next, consider the following statement. Kamarupa identical with the Ganga basin running from east to west shot into prominence in the 7th century. The Kamarupa kings adopted the title Varman, and Chinese traveler Huansang visited the area of Kamarupa. Here the incorrect statement is only the C1, that is first statement. First statement means Kamarupa identical with Ganga basin running east to west shot into prominence in 7th century is wrong one. Here Kamarupa is identical with Brahmaputra basin, not the Ganga basin. It is east west extension shot into prominence in 7th century. After having excavations in Amber near Guwahati from 4th century Christian era. Here coming to this Samudragupta, who received tributes from these Samantas are feudatories from Devaka and Kamarupa. Okay. Devaka was possibly a portion of Naugang district and Kamarupa covered Brahmaputra basin. They were the feudatories of this Samudragupta king, and they gifted many things to this king actually, and Kamarupa kings adopted title Varman as well. And next thing is, in the 7th century Bhaskar Varman emerged as the head of that state in Guwahati region, Brahmaputra basin, this Kamarupa having east west extension. And Chinese traveler Huansing visited this state as well, this northeastern state Guwahati, which is located beside the basin of this Brahmaputra. Next, 15th question, Harshavardhana governed his empire on the same lines as the Gupta did. Yes, that is true. And the empire Harsha law and order was, entire empire of this Harsha law and order was extraordinary. He considered this robbery was treason. That means it is a backstabbing to the throne or the royal family. So it was considered as a backstabbing. So a military coup kind of thing, a back trickster who is a confidence trickster, who is doing backstabbing. So this is the robbery was considered to be Rajdroh. It was considered in Telugu, even in Hindi we can comfortably tell that Rajdroh. So that was the hardest term used by Harshavardhana times. Therefore law and order was maintained much profoundly by him. Irrespective of that, there were many robberies existed during that time. It was written by this person who is that visitor, Huansang as well. Huansang mentioned that he was robbed irrespective of patronization from Harshavardhana and protected by his team as well, but he was robbed by other people in that region. Next, Nalanda was the center of the Buddhist learning in the Gupta period. Yes, and it was patronized by Pala rulers. Yes, that is true, but both are true in not having any interlinking here. So Nalanda was patronized by Guptas and patronized by Palas. There is no interlink between them. Okay. So statement 1 is not being substantiated by statement 2. Both are true, but not having any relationship, not giving any explanation out of it. Next, consider the following statements about Udaygiri caves. Udaygiri caves, all the caves except for one Buddhist cave depict Hindu deities. That is wrong. Here it is given, see, it is not, it is wrong. I will update it. Here except one Jain cave, all depict Hindu deities. That is actually all the caves except for one deity. So asking about correct statement, the first statement is incorrect. We cannot choose that one. This is a typo error. I will remove this one C and consider it as a B1. Okay. Most of the sculptures are carved outside the caves. That is true. Here about Udaygiri caves. Udaygiri, all the caves except one Jain cave. In the explanation part, it is given clearly except one Jain cave. All other caves of the Udaygiri are depicting the Hindu deities, and most of the sculptures are carved outside the caves. Okay. And next, these include 4-armed standing Vishnu. It was asked by UPSC in 2013, it seems. 4-armed standing Vishnu, Kumara or Ekamukha Linga, Apratyahara something. So and also Vishnu in his boar incarnation. Vishnu in his boar incarnation lifting the entire earth and protecting it. This was a sculptural marvel given in the UPSC as a previous year question in the prelims itself in 2013, it seems, or 11. I don't know the remember. I don't remember the year, but it was prominent previous year question asked by UPSC in one of the questions. Next, 18th question. Consider the following statements with regard to Ajanta caves. It consists of narrative scenes connected with Buddha, Bodhisattva and Jataka, and next frescoes here depict Yaksha, Gandharva, Apsara. All are true here. Most of the caves excavated here during the period of Vagatakas also. That is true. All 3 statements given here are true, and 4th statement something is talking incorrect one. Most of the caves here are chaityas. No, wrong, absolutely. Chaityas are prayer halls. Most of the caves here are accommodating Buddhist monks for the rest houses, for the purpose of rest. So this is viharas. Most of the caves contain viharas except cave 19 and 26. except 2 caves which contained chaityas, means prayer halls. All other caves were viharas. Next, which of the following statements about Gupta period is not correct? Here in Gupta period, Saurashtra was not part of this incorrect one. All 3 statements are correct one, because Saurashtra was also part of this Gupta period, and Mehrauli inscription, and not only Mehrauli, in this Saurashtra inscription, this is Junagadh inscription. Initially it was also inscribed by a foreign ruler, Rudradaman I, belonged to this Shaka dynasty, okay, Shaka clan. So it was talking about Sudarshan Lake. These embankments were destroyed, therefore this Saurashtra king and also this Gupta king with the patronization, they have inscribed again in the Junagadh, and they have established that embankment of the Sudarshan Lake, which was built during the time of Shaka era, especially Rudradaman I. Okay. Next, coming to this forced labor Vishti, already we have discussed in the earlier times, and passage in the Vishnu Purana refers to Gupta enjoying all the territories along the Gupta up to Prayaga, that is true. And Mehrauli inscription suggests that Chandragupta fought against a confederacy of enemies in Bengal, also led a campaign in Punjab. Yes, that is true. Next, Mehrauli inscription suggesting Chandragupta fought against a confederacy of enemies who are fighting against this Chandragupta. In the was defeated by him, Chandragupta defeated them, and it was mentioned in Mehrauli inscription. They at the same time, his coins inscription indicate that his rule extended to Malwa and Western India as well. And here D is incorrect, because Saurashtra was part of this Gupta empire only. Chandragupta's Junagadh inscription, already I have told you, this Junagadh inscription providing details about this Saurashtra region and Sudarshan Lake, and that has been built during this Maurya period and repaired in Rudradaman's time. Here it's this inscription is also telling about he appointed his son as governor of the Saurashtra. Saurashtra is present day part of Gujarat. Next, Parnadatta in turn appointed his son to govern the city where inscription was inscribed. So it is very clear that it was not part of the Saurashtra only. You cannot deny that. It was a previous year question of UPSC in CAPF 2017, that is why we have taken that question. And coming to statement 1, statement 2, here Chandragupta, like Ashoka, believed in a policy of peace and non-aggression. Chandragupta, like Ashoka, believed in policy of peace and non-violence, and he was called as Napoleon of India. You please consider this as statement 1 is absolutely incorrect, because he did not follow that peace non-violence of Ashoka and Dhamma, something else. Statement 2 is absolutely correct, he was called as Napoleon of India, though Napoleon came after Chandragupta. And Kalidasa came after, Kalidasa came earlier to this Shakespeare, but these Western philosophers and writers and literature experts are telling always that they are Shakespeare of India, they are some Napoleon of India, like this. They are just an 18th century guys, and still we consider them like that. Next, consider the following statements with respect to the Allahabad pillar inscription. It is an Ashokan pillar and contains Dhammalipi, and it has poetic inscription. Actually, Allahabad inscription is mostly talking about a preciosity of the Samudragupta, means the valor and the greatness of the Samudragupta, how he fought and defeated various other kingdoms and extended towards this southern part of India. Allahabad pillar inscription, who actually wrote in Sanskrit by Harisena, and whose surface also carries inscriptions of Ashoka and Mughal Emperor Jahangir, and Gupta inscription in prose verse, eulogies, achievements, conquests, personality of Samudragupta, and it was composed by Harisena, as I have told. Okay. With reference to ancient India, the term Shataka corresponds to fabric. Shataka corresponds to fabric, the technique of cloth making, silk weaving, with reference to ancient India. This Shataka is talking about cloth making, silk weaving, and Madura was once great center to manufacture a special type of cloth that is named Shataka in the ancient times. Dyeing was also thriving craft in some part of southern India. And next, 24th question, following statements with respect to the Gupta era. Here Samudragupta started Gupta era, and Fahian visited India while Gupta dynasty. It is talking about incorrect statement. It is not Samudragupta who started this Gupta era. It was started by Chandragupta I, father of this Samudragupta. Chandragupta II is the son of the Samudragupta, and Chandragupta II is called as Vikramaditya. He started Vikram era. and Chandragupta I started this Gupta era, and in the year of 320 BC. Now it is given 320 AD, sorry, BC, not BC, the Mauryan time, that was Mauryan time. This is 320 AD, and it was during Chandragupta II, Vikramaditya reign, the Chinese pilgrim Fahian visited his kingdom, and an elaborate account of his life was given there. Here some Skandagupta Girnar inscription is talking about Sudarshan Lake, and Kumaragupta founded Nalanda Mahavira University, and Fahian visited an iron pillar at Delhi, and daughter Prabhavati Gupta was also discussed. And next, during Chandragupta II, next Napoleon of India was a term title given to Samudragupta, and Prayag Prashasti, Allahabad inscription by Harisena, and Chandragupta I, Gupta era. This is the chronology of the socio-political history of the Gupta times, and consider the following pairs with respect to the economy of post-Mauryan India, that is Shreni, Shreshti, Satavaha. These were the terms denoted to various contributors to the economy, and all the above are fine. Here artisan merchants were considered to be Shreni and Ayatanas. Here they are organized into guilds. Guilds means a confederacy of the merchants and traders. So artisans and merchants were organized into guilds called as Shreni and Ayatanas, and Buddhist text mentioning about Shreshti, who was the chief merchant of this Nigama, and the Sadavaha was the leader of the caravan who was who facilitated carrying these traded goods. This is caravan. So leader of that caravan was termed as Sadavaha, and chief merchant was named as Nigama, who was head of this Shrenis, and he was called as Shreshti as well. This was called the Buddhist text mentioning about Shreshti, who was the chief merchant of this Nigama, and who was head of this corporation of merchants, that is Vanij Gramo. Next, consider the following pairs with respect to type of lands and their respective names during Gupta period. Maru, already I had told you, this is a desert land, and Urava and Ushara. Ushara was barren land, okay, and all three pairs given here are correctly matched. Urvara is a fertile land, Maru is desert land, Ushara is barren land, and already measurements of land Advayapu, Kulyavapu, these were the land, Pataka, already we have discussed about them, and various names devoted to different types of land, Nadi Matrika, and next Deva Matrika. When river is cultivated by river, the land is cultivable by river, it is called as Nadi Matrika. If it is cultivable by rain, this is Deva Matrika. If it is having fertile land, it was called as Urvara, and Ushara is a barren land, Urvara is a fertile land, Mara is a desert land. Okay. Which among the following options correctly depict the Gupta administrative divisions from bigger to smaller in terms of area? Already we have given you the chronology, that Grama and Vitti, next Vishya, final Bhukti, finally Emperor. This is the structure, the ascending order. Next, consider the following statements with respect to social structure during Gupta rule. A social structure we have discussed that in the Huansang and Fahian chronicles as well. The situation of Sudras and women deteriorated compared to earlier times. However, they had patronized various poets and kingdoms. They witnessed that their extension extended to northeast India and southern part of India, and feudatories of northeast India also discussed here in this discussion, and go through these MCQs once again, the PYQs associated with it. This is orientation that I would like to provide you. So, if I can give you much faster explanation as well, it will save your time and energy. You can reduce the speed to 0.75 if it looks very fast. If it is fine for you, just attend it directly. If it is slow for you, just increase it to 1.25 in our KPSR app. You have that option to maximize the speed and reduce the speed as well. So, all the very best and thank you.